sip and converse. Let's sip and converse. Let's talk about it. Sip and converse.
Welcome, Mr. DJ.
What's up, Crib?
How's it going?
Hey, man, it's an amazing day.
You know what time it is?
Yes.
Another episode of Sip and Converse. Make sure before we get started that y'all like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to join us and listen in for this amazing podcast series we got today with a special guest that we're going to introduce shortly. But go ahead, DJ.
They don't want to miss this episode right here. I've been so excited when we got the call, the text message, the confirmation that that she said she was going to be here. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to say any more. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
And before she does, I know y'all excited to see another face besides us two country folk is always talking. So let us introduce our guest, Miss Ashanae. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ashanae. I am excited to be here with both of y'all today. Thank you for the invite.
Yes,
awesome.
Yes.
A little bit about me. I live in Metro Atlanta. I am a certified professional coach, specifically around leadership. I love coaching women in corporate America, and I am a business owner. And I also work in medical software. So I've been in medical software for over a decade and am currently a product manager.
Awesome. So it's great timing with this special guest because we're tapping right into a situation of being a professional. You heard her background, you heard her rundown, and we are in the Atlanta area, DJ. Mm-hmm. The dating scene, being single, moving along.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, DJ?
Oh, I thought you were going to hit me with a medical question. I was about to divert you right back to boss lady over here. Yeah, the dating scene, from what I heard, because, I've been off the market for a minute. Matter of fact, coming up on 35 years.
Congratulations.
Yes, 35.
But hey, you still, you got people talking to you, seeking for, advice and stuff about the dating scene. And, Atlanta is including the whole metro area, is like 6 million people here. So you have your choice of people that you want to mingle with.
Oh, we didn't bring back the word from last month?
What's that?
The plethora of people?
Yeah, the plethora of people. That's it. So you have a plethora of people that you can choose to date with. And so I know Miss Ashanae here that she's single, very have a dynamic lifestyle that she's currently having with being an entrepreneur, executive in the professional arena of work. Mm-hmm. And as well, you're a very attractive young lady. And so I know the boys be hollering at you at the red light. They ain't wait to get you in the grocery store or Publix or anything. They hollering at you right at the red light. And so just how are you embracing, corporate America, being an entrepreneur, and in the dating scene, because there's so many levels that you have to face on a regular basis. So just share some of the things that you're encountering.
Thank you for asking that. The Atlanta scene has its own. I mean, obviously we have podcasts, we have shows, series, we have a number of things out there in terms of entertainment that are specifically where we live. That's how entertaining it is. So being an entrepreneur and also an executive and dating, what is that like? It's interesting. It's exciting.
Okay.
Because I enjoy what I do for work, and I also look forward to having a life outside of it.
Absolutely.
So I have this motto: 9 to 5, and then what do you do 5 to 9?
Yeah.
So my 5 to 9 time If I'm not working or I'm coaching or looking to hang out or go to a networking event or go on a date, or hang out with family or friends, it's really about my time. I really consider the cost benefit analysis of all of it. Am I moving forward in my goals, and do I feel well enough to go on a date? Because if I have all these tabs open in my mind about the things I'm doing in the other spaces, 9 to 5,
Yes.
it's not a good time to be sitting across from someone trying to get to know them. So I have to prioritize. And I make that decision based on what I have going on. Is it the end of the month, the first of the month? Is it time to start doing some finance meetings and thinking about the business? Or can I have fun this weekend? So I just weigh it all out.
Just for my knowledge, why does the timing of the month makes a difference of the things that you're going to do?
Very good question. So, end of the month, beginning of the month, oftentimes if you are running a business of any sort, it is time to figure out the finances. Have you met your goals for the month? And what are you leaning into as the next month comes? So, just a time to reflect. Also, not only my business finances, but my personal finances as well. It's an opportunity for me to sit down and keep my commitment to myself so that I feel healthy and well enough to go out on a date that is hopefully productive and fun.
Crib, you know the saying we have on here, talk about it. She didn't even get a chance to say it. She just ran on into it.
Yeah. And listening to what Ashnae was saying and what she's telling you, the audience, I wanted to ask you a question, Ashnae, about the balance.
Okay.
What would be a piece of advice for someone else in your shoes or going down the same driven path to be able to balance their ambition and the vulnerability in the same area, but also you're expected to fit in?
Yes.
Because speaking from a male perspective, some men these days are intimidated by women who are ambitious or are career driven or maybe focused with what they got going on. So how do you balance that and fit in?
So, ambition and the other word, vulnerability.
Yeah.
I am a firm believer, personally for myself, that I must choose. Now, is there a time where I can potentially try to sway both and just kind of leverage them both? Yes. I must choose though, right? So 9 to 5, 5 to 9. What am I going to optimize and do during the day that may lead me to an evening of fun?
Yes.
So ambition, maybe during the day, maybe ambition later in the evening. And then the vulnerability is a requirement. I must be vulnerable even in my leadership at work, my pursuit of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
In closing deals, contracts, having business conversations, and potentially networking with folks like you to figure out if that's something I'm interested in doing. So staying true to myself is the vulnerability that is required, and then staying also true to my goals, which is where the ambition comes in. I have to choose. Am I going to do 80-20 today? Am I going to do 100-100? And there's no vulnerability. There's no date. There's no phone calls. I'm focused in. I'm intentional.
It's funny that you're saying that right now because you tapped into my follow-up question.
Okay.
Because I was going to ask, what's happened with when the balance has tipped too far to one or the other, and what did you learn?
That is such a good question. Again, back to what I said recently, you must choose. Right. So if I'm choosing, let's say a certification, I have several, and I know you do too. If I'm choosing to lean into the certification and I need to do studying, potentially communicate or build a network of folks who already have that thing that I'm seeking, I'm going to have to lean into it. Yeah. It may be that from 9 to 5, 365, the whole week, it doesn't matter, whatever the time that commitment takes, I must do it. And that means that I also have to accept that every yes came with a no. True. And so I have to accept those no's. I got to kind of put my big girl pants on and be an adult about it, and be truthful with myself, and maybe journal or document that that's happened. If the scale slides 100% on one and 0 on the other, I could have a positive outcome from that. If I have a negative outcome from it, then I learned a lesson. Let's see if I have an example.
But one thing that's key, what you just said, it doesn't matter if you a positive or a negative outcome, you still learn a lesson.
100%.
A lot of times people think because if the negative is the outcome for them, they think they haven't learned anything, and they miss the lesson because it's a negative. And that's what happens a lot of times, because if it's a negative, you learn from that, and it's going to help you propel forward the next time when you go back and get on the horse again and ride.
I completely agree. A negative outcome is a lesson.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know that I was at this event and they gave me an acronym for failure. First attempt in learning.
That's good.
Yeah. So I was like, that's a way to look at it. The first attempt at learning. So if you do have that negative, now you get to learn from that negative, because every time you're doing anything, it's always a learning opportunity for those that are open-minded.
100%.
Most successful people will tell you, if you're not failing, you're not succeeding. So the people who's looking for the largest success, they know they're going to fail at some point in time. So be prepared to fail at something. That's that, and I adopted that. I don't mind failing at anything.
I like that. Be prepared to fail.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it's going right into another segue, another alley-oop, with what unspoken rules have you had to break or rewrite to succeed without losing yourself? Because when you're pursuing certifications, when you're pursuing your ambition, if you decide to start dating, now you're involved with this person, every yes is a no somewhere else.
Right.
So at that point in time, it could be a no to what you're used to, or some of your rules that you're or boundary that you've set for yourself. Not a negative boundary, but this is something else that you want to pursue. What broken rule, unspoken rule have you had to break or rewrite to make it all come together and work commingle? Good gumbo.
Yeah.
A good gumbo. Let me tell you, a recent lesson for me is specifically about self abandonment. And so let's go back to the yes and no. Abandoning myself and saying yes to something that I know I wanted to say no to. And doing it consistently so it becomes a pattern for myself. And then getting to a point where either I'm praying or I'm journaling or I'm doing whatever my mindfulness is for the day, and realizing undercurrent of resentment. And that either coming from me, because it's being reflected back to me, you said yes to this. Yes. Right?
Yep.
Or the other person or parties or whatever the situation was, right? That's a new lesson for me. Okay. It's a really deep lesson in self-abandonment. So I have and actively am rewriting that part of my life where I stand firm on my yeses and also on my no's, and recognize the other part of the coin. And then am I going to feel good about it when I think about it, maybe the next day, or maybe when I write about it, or if I come to a podcast like this to share with someone else, how did I feel?
Yes.
Yeah. And that everything that I'm doing isn't all about the outward appearance and what you all can see. The self-abandonment piece is something that came from within. And I honestly had to kind of get a little quiet to realize that.
Yes.
So that would have to be a point of vulnerability where I stepped away from the ambition to realize that, okay, there are times when you really want to say no. And so I encourage myself now to say that.
And it's okay to say no. Oftentimes we have family members, friends, coworkers, and the big S word, society, will make you feel a certain way by holding true to your real boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay, why you say no? Are you being selfish? If you say yes, are you being selfish? And many of us go through those phases that we don't want to come across. If it's not in us, we don't want to come across as a selfish individual.
Yeah.
So, like you stated, we may say yes and then regret we say yes, or we say no and then we regret that we said no.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you said, it's going back into that. Am I abandoning the things in me that are my core values or what I believe in?
And that's what's most important.
Yes, I want to add a little bit to what you just said about selfish. So I have this little sticky note in my office, and it literally says, "I am not self-centered.
Hmm.
However, I am centered on self."
Wow.
And I have that sticky note as a reminder in relation to the self abandonment and ambition and vulnerability, because I want to remain true to my core values. And I want to be consistent with my mindfulness. So with my praying and my journaling and taking care of me in the midst of dating. So you ask me, how do you not, go 100% on one and lose out on the other? That's one of the ways that I do that. Being centered on myself and recognizing that I have goals and things that I want to action, which lead me towards my self-fulfillment. That has to remain important to me.
And not to change your affirmation on that for my believers out there, I want to take that a step further.
Yes, please.
If you center yourself on God, that's really going to help you with your core values. Because sometimes people idolize themselves and still lose focus.
That's so true.
And so, yes, focus on yourself, but if you focus on God first, it's really going to help you keep your core values in check.
Right.
Because one of my questions too that I want to piggyback off of Larry is that we both know where you are at in corporate America, and you're overseeing, leading people that some of those people are old enough to be your mother and father.
Yes.
But we know the path that you took to get there, and there were some non-negotiables for you. However, there are some people who will sell themselves out to get the same position that you have right now.
Yes.
And so, if you don't mind sharing, what are some of your non-negotiables in corporate America as well as in the dating scene?
Ooh, that is an outstanding question. Bumping up against non-negotiables in the corporate space, I can tell you automatically, hands down, is self-respect.
Mm-hmm.
I will not, under any circumstances, budge on respecting myself. That is both in the way I demonstrate and present myself in terms of the way I dress.
Yes.
As well as the way I speak. And then the types of conversations I will engage in the workplace. I recently had someone introduce me to do a presentation in the workplace, and a term that they used was very personal. And I stopped them in their tracks. Very nice, very professional, in a very elegant way. And I just said it would be so awesome if in the future we could highlight how intelligent and brilliant I am and how much I bring to this organization and the tenure I have here as opposed to what I look like. So,
oh my!
So there are.
I need to take a sip off that one.
Yeah. And
So
that was in the professional environment. I can only imagine if it was in the street.
So, self-respect, hands down, non-negotiable. That's both in dating and in the corporate space.
Yeah.
I know, let's say that was number one. Number two is about demonstration. So it's like my competency and my skills.
Yes.
I will not ebb and flow on that. I come into a space, I am informed, I know what I'm speaking about, and I have enough emotional intelligence to say when I don't. I am always and forever going to be an avid learner. I am radical about questioning and wanting to understand the why behind the decisions that are made in a corporate space.
Okay.
So those are things I will not budge. I want to present myself very prepared. I like to do my research. I like to be in a space where I can ask questions, and leadership is a passion of mine. And so now that I've gotten to a level in my professional life where I am leading numerous people on numerous projects impacting all of our client base. I think I have reached an intersection that it's my sweet spot. I like it. I like it.
Okay.
It likes me. It's going very well.
We feel elevated right now that you on Sip and Converse. How you feel, Chris?
I have to sit up.
Wait.
Those same things go for dating.
Yeah.
I have no tolerance for foolishness.
Okay.
I have such low tolerance for it. I don't see it and I don't hear it and I don't engage. I am very good at blocking. I am very well versed in how to use the
What
technology.
you mean, blocking shots
Block-
or the cell phone number?
Blocking shots. You said pull it up to the red light trying to get my number. Those things happen to me here.
That's what players do in the A.
The grocery store, just can't go anywhere without
the DMs.
Yeah.
DMs for sure. Just some sort of engagement, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. However, the foolishness, right? So
Mhm.
I'm looking, I'm looking for wedding bands. I'm looking for all sorts of things where I can make a decision again to say yes or no, because
Yeah.
I know that that's a yes and a no on the other side of the coin.
How
too.
many times you been offered to pump your gas at the Quick Trip?
I have had men ask to pump my gas, certainly to buy me things. They won't let me check out. They want to pay for what I'm trying to purchase.
Well, your Uncle D wears a size 11. I ain't trying to, trick you out or anything, but just in case.
Okay. We can get a size
Don't
11.
quote me that on Sip and Converse. All right, now we just keeping some jokey jokes around here.
So with what you just said and your boundaries, has anyone ever tried to get you to operate outside of your boundaries and make you feel a certain way? Because sometimes people, whether it's corporate, whether it's dating scene, sometimes people could try to make you feel bad for the standards that you have set.
100%.
And not just necessarily men either. Women as well can try to
Yeah,
manipulate you.
absolutely. I in the corporate space, I'll start there. I have I've been in HR a few times
Okay.
based on my own submissions and really sort of advocating and standing up for myself in the workplace. So I certainly have encountered men and women who have said things to me that I just did not agree with, and I knew it was unprofessional, and I knew that I needed to reach beyond myself
Mhm.
and get HR involved. Those all turned out positively for me in my career. And I was able to resume feeling good and
Okay.
just, moving onward and upward in my career. In my personal life, I have absolutely had people, ex-boyfriends, to try to get me to accept something that I know I shouldn't and don't have to accept.
Mm.
I don't know. I think I've had potentially maybe this conversation with you in the past, but I'm not sure about you, Mr. DJ. But I have, unfortunately, I've been to court before. I've had a few things happen in my past. A stalker situation that was pretty serious in my life. So
You said soccer or shocker?
stalker.
Stalker. Okay.
Mhm. So safety is important to me. You asked me
Absolutely.
about some core values and some things I will not negotiate on. I became very good at blocking because I had that experience.
Yes.
My safety is paramount. If I ever feel unsafe, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, right here, you got two guys you can call on anytime. We know you have your dad, but
Yeah.
you got backup on top of backup.
Yes,
for
I
sure.
appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are some things. I definitely have encountered those situations, and I'm not going to say that I navigated them perfectly, but earlier we talked about the fact that sometimes a negative is a lesson.
Yes.
And I learned really good lessons through having those engagements with HR, and certainly, having to go to court for a time or two.
Because that's what I want to know. Because sometimes somebody may be listening and trying to figure out how do they navigate that space, or they're in that space right now where people are applying pressure
Yeah.
for them to go against their standards, go against their core values. And then once they hear those pressures, now in that alone time, they may be thinking to themselves, what if they're right?
Mm.
What if my standards are too high and that's why I am single, or I'm not in a committed relationship or I'm not moving along in my career path that I wanted to be. So you begin to say negative things to yourself
Absolutely.
and start to think something's wrong with you,
Yep.
which is going back to what we talked about a couple of episodes ago, red flags, honest flaws.
Yep.
So it's it's one of those places that we got to figure out how to navigate and take that time to maneuver.
Yes.
I can tell you specifically for myself that I feel good about navigating dating in the corporate space because I know me. I am sold out. Like I know Ashanae, I am completely honest with my flaws, my imperfections, the things that I am day by day working on. So one of my favorite affirmations is I'm getting better every day in every way.
That is so key, and I'm glad you mentioned earlier about vulnerability. You know, a lot of people, men and women, think they don't have flaws. They don't. They think there's no imperfection on them. They think they don't need to work on themselves every day.
They think they can cover it up with some Beijing or some Mac or some Estee Lauder.
No amount of Estee Lauder or MAC Cosmetics is going to cover up very, very deep rooted imperfections.
Talk about it.
We could be working on them, right? That's a part of, I think, our work here.
Yeah.
True.
I'm a believer, so that's what I believe. And also, the pursuit of perfection, it has to be exhausting.
Yeah.
And
it's just not a race that I want to be in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And social media deals that it adds that another layer onto that because people see the filtered life
Yeah.
on IG, on Facebook, the filtered life. Where if you begin to strip down those filters, then you get to the root of the issues. But nobody want to be honestly vulnerable and accept their vulnerability and to begin to move forward out of it. Because you got like a GPS. GPS doesn't work until you know where you are.
That's right.
You cut it on. Once it locates your exact location, then it can give you the correct paths to take to maneuver to where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's in everybody's life going forward. So, Miss Ashanae, it was final question, or not even a question. What are 1 to 3 baby steps that listeners that are in your situation or going down the same path could to do first to get moving? Because some people are stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are a couple of pieces of advice you would give any listener that's on our either listening to us on YouTube or Apple Podcasts? What's 1, 2 pieces of advice to give them?
Thank you for asking that. If I could suggest or encourage anything from my seat, literally where I'm sitting and feeling good about where I'm going, I would suggest number one, knowing yourself.
Mm.
And so build and create, foster, nurture a very serious relationship with self. When I talked about imperfections, it wasn't because I'm seeking to not have them. It's because I want to increase my awareness so that when I am encountered by other people, I know what I'm getting myself into. So build your relationship with God, build your relationship with yourself and the God that's in you.
Yes.
Pour into it on a daily basis. You may have to start out with little sprinkles here and there, and it'll become more and more in depth. You will find that the conversations and the journaling and the reading, they will enhance tremendously because of that relationship. So increase your self-awareness in your relationship, deepen that, I think is number one, I would suggest. And then the second thing is to seek out someone who is doing, has already been, or is going where it is that you seek to go.
Yes.
So in the form of a sponsor, in the form of a mentor, I'm not saying that this person can or cannot be your parent. Oftentimes they're not.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Be encouraged by that. Know that it's okay to build a community and a village outside of the people who birthed you and raised you so that you can get to a place where you feel fulfilled. I believe that our parents want to see their offspring fulfilled, right?
Absolutely.
Deep fulfillment doesn't always going to mean you call your dad and ask them for something and they're Johnny on the spot. That's not necessarily, I think, what God means by joy, right? That no one can give it to you. So find that place and that person to get around you and challenge you in that space. For me, that was building corporate. For me, that is an exposure to entrepreneurship and business. Lastly, but certainly not, the coaching piece. That has changed my life. Me becoming a certified coach has changed my life for the better. And you said 3. So the third thing that I would say, so number 1, right? Deepen your relationship with God. Really know yourself.
Right.
Build some practices around that on a daily basis. The second thing would be to seek out a sponsor or a mentor, someone who can take you where you're trying to go, really be alongside you. And the third thing I would say is once you have those 2 things, get active. A little bit every day. Just one thing sometimes can change the trajectory of today and tomorrow.
That is
I
so
did
true.
not know that when I met you, and I did not know that when I met you that we'd ever be sitting here in this space right here, right now.
We didn't know it either.
So get active, right? Get active about that thing. Use and lean into that vulnerability and start doing that thing, right? And get out there. And then you never know what beautiful serendipities will come as a result of it.
Yeah.
So,
That's your word for today, serendipity.
Serendipity.
So, Miss Ashanae, closing out,
mhm.
you mentioned that you was a coach. You mentioned you in the corporate space. How can the people that's listening, if you like, how
Sure.
can they reach out to you for coaching, conversation, maybe even speaking engagements?
Awesome. Well, I am on LinkedIn. That's where the money resides. And so that's where I am. My first name dot last name. You can find me there. You will see my information in the content underneath this video. So certainly reach out to either our Sip and Converse specialist here.
We'll
and they
hook
can
you up.
get you in contact with me. I would love to speak with anyone who is wanting to go onward and upward in their next step towards greatness, success, and leadership.
Go ahead, Crib.
If you're open later on down the road, will you feel open to coming back and joining us on our show?
I can't wait.
Ooh, wait. Ooh, wait, we can't wait. And unfortunately, we didn't have anything in our hand this time, but our bad. We will make sure she will have something in her hand so she can sip while she converse. It's been a pleasure and an honor to have you join us today.
Thank you so much.
It's been a plum pleasing pleasure. As if I heard a person say, it's a plum pleasing pleasure, but we want to thank you for joining us. Thank you, Miss Ashanae, for your time.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank everybody who joined us today on the YouTube podcast or Apple TV.
Yes.
Apple TV, I spoke to Crib. We're going to be on Apple TV.
Ooh,
I don't know
wait.
where it came out from.
I'm ready to sign my name on the contract.
But thank y'all for joining us. Please like, share, follow, and subscribe. And we hope to see you on the next show.
We love y'all.
And we out.
Let's sip and converse.